From being the first respondents to humanitarian crises anywhere across the globe to dealing with the situation on northern and western borders and learning lessons from the war in Europe, IAF Air Chief Marshal Vivek Chaudhari spoke to WION about security challenges faced by India and its defense sector. Watch.
See, Indian Air Force has always been the first responder for any such crisis across the globe, particularly in the near vicinity of our country. And in the past many years, we have actually developed our skill level and training level to execute such missions with fair amount of confidence. Like these few missions that you mentioned, the extrication of our diaspora from South Sudan or even from Kabul back in 21. These were all missions that were fraught with a lot of uncertainties and some level of, even a danger, I may use that word. But our trained aircrew, our trained commando forces which went along with these aircraft ensured that the missions were executed flawlessly. It required a lot of teamwork, a lot of pre-preparation and training. And this is precisely what we go through on a daily basis in the Air Force. So we are always honing the skills, preparing for such conditions that may arise anywhere across the globe. Recently, just a few weeks ago, you are aware that along with the Indian Navy, we carried out an operation of dropping the speedboats from an C-17 aircraft, almost 2,500 kilometers from our coastline, on which the Indian Navy Marcos embarked and carried out their anti-piracy operation. So the kind of roles and missions that we are expected to do can be very, very varied. But let me tell you with a lot of confidence that I think we are capable of pulling off anything that comes our way.
And how do you assess the current situation when it comes to India's northern borders, sir? How is the Indian Air Force prepared to deal with that as well?
We are always prepared. We will remain prepared. We will handle any situation that may arise based on the circumstances that come up at that time. But let me assure you that we are always ready to take on any situation.
Any lessons from the situation that has emerged in the last 2 or 3 years?
Our initial issue was with sustaining and maintaining our forces at high altitudes in the eastern Ladakh in particular, because you are aware that the Air Force was never equipped or trained to operate for sustained periods there. So the first challenge was to deploy our units at those altitudes and thereafter now keep them going there for such a long period. So with good help from and administrative support from the Indian Army and the ITBP, I think we are now quite well settled, I would say, in those high altitude regions.
And moving towards the western border as well, how much is the worry there and how are we geared to deal with any crisis?
I think suffice it to say that we are always prepared. If any new development takes place, we will redeploy as required. We will relook at our deployment policies and the way we conduct our operations. So we will always respond to any situation appropriately.
And the two-front challenge?
Even that we will respond to appropriately.
Any lessons from the conflict that has happened in Europe?
Very much, at all levels. If I start at the strategic level, I think the first lesson is the requirement to be self-sufficient in arms manufacturing, production and sustenance. We cannot continuously rely on somebody else to provide us arms and ammunition. So that's the first lesson. The second major lesson, of course, will be at the operational level, where the requirement of maintaining some degree of control of the air, or what they call air superiority or air supremacy, has come out loud and clear. Alongside that is, of course, the air defense measures that are required. You see the plethora of objects that need to be defended against, starting from small drones to hypersonic weapons like the Kinzhal missile and so on. So we need to have a robust air defense network that can actually counter all the threats which are present and which are emerging in future.
The Indian Air Force is all set to conduct a trial run of an emergency landing facility on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. Sukhoi fighter aircraft and Tejas light combat jets are expected to participate in the dry run. The focus will be on showcasing capabilities of the emergency landing facility. The dry run has affected the traffic in the area as well. Authorities have issued an advisory restricting heavy motor vehicles on the highway. Police have diverted all motor vehicles to alternative routes. Heavy vehicle drivers have also been asked to avoid the highway. Work on the 3.5-kilometer emergency landing strip had started in 2020 and was completed last year. The airstrip has been constructed at a cost of 119 crore Indian rupees, that's over 14 million US dollars. The long road has been converted into an operational runway that can be used for emergency landing. The stretch aims to help fighter jets and other aircrafts in case of military conflicts and natural calamities that require massive mobilization of resources. Elaborate arrangements have been made for deployment of security forces, radars and technical equipment. And for more on this, our correspondent Idris Lone has sent us this report from Srinagar.
The Indian Air Force is carrying out a trial run on the Srinagar-Jammu National Highway, a 3.5-kilometer airstrip that was started by the Indian Air Force in 2020 is complete now, and there will be a trial run of the Indian Air Force fighter jets on the airstrip today. The traffic on the national highway has been diverted for the same. The whole area has been secured and sanitized, and security presence around the area has been increased. We are being told by our sources that the first trial will begin at around 8 p.m. in the evening and will carry on for a couple of hours. The fighter jets of the Indian Air Force would be landing on the 3.5-kilometer airstrip stretch, which is in the Bijbehara area of Anantnag district, where all these fighter jets would be landing today for a trial run, due to which the traffic on the road has been diverted and security measures have been beefed up across the highway. With video journalist Firoz, Idris Lone for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.